Hey people, just wanted to give some of my thoughts on the new Green Lantern animated series. I got a chance to watch the pilot recently. It's 2 episodes back to back combined for the big premiere. And overall I must say I was pretty impressed with it. Seeing some of the early footage and some of what was released, wasn't quite sure if it would be a good show or not, but I must say that the story that they're telling is pretty good. It's mature storytelling, and that's really something that I value, because I feel like a lot of cartoons tend to talk down to their audience because they know that a lot of kids will be watching, so they tend to just make it more simplistic, and the dialogue isn't very mature, and it just feels like they're forgetting that older people might like to watch these too, and that kids are able to follow mature stories. So storytelling wise, definitely pretty interesting. They skip the origin of Hal Jordan and start you when he's already been a Green Lantern for a while, so he's already adjusted to it. And this, I don't know, if you wanted to see the origin, then I can understand, maybe be a little disappointed that they didn't start there, but I think it's a good starting point for it. And if you watch Green Lantern First Flight, I feel like it can pretty much serve as the origin story for this animated version of Green Lantern. I mean, obviously, and they're not in the same continuity and they don't follow exactly the same story, but style-wise, character-wise, I think a lot of it can fall in line with that. One thing that is interesting, we were not introduced to Sinestro yet, so I don't know if he is still with the Green Lanterns or he's gone rogue or what, but he hasn't been positioned as a hero, and he hasn't been positioned as a villain. They have gone with the Red Lanterns as the main villains of this series, with Atrocitus as kind of the head bad guy so far in the first 2 episodes. So that's an interesting take there. It's pretty easy to follow. The green guys are the good guys, the red guys are the bad guys, so it does make it easier for the kids, younger audiences to follow it. It is a bit darker than I expected, though. I don't want to give too much away, but there is at least one death in the first 2 episodes, so I was kind of surprised by that, but I guess pleasantly surprised to see that this is going to be a mature show. The one thing that I do have to say, I'm not liking the art style that much. It is very reminiscent of the DC animated universe in its style, and it shows that because Bruce Timm is involved with it. So I do like that in a nostalgic sense, but I just don't feel that the particular way that they've implemented into CGI works very well for them. Like, the design of Hal Jordan just looks awkwardly big at sometimes, and the DC animated universe characters have always have had like crazy proportions, like super huge chests and arms, and it worked back then in the cartoons for some reason, but I just don't feel like it's working as well right now. And even style aside, I feel like just the quality of the character models and the backgrounds and everything isn't up to the standard set by Star Wars: The Clone Wars, which is a very high standard, but as someone who's watched a lot of that series, it's just kind of how I measure everything else in the CGI animated series world. So considering the fact that they are both set in space, very sci-fi oriented, we'll probably have a similar structure with the Jedi Order and the Green Lantern Corps. They're going to be comparisons made there, so I feel like right now it doesn't match up to Clone Wars in that area, but hopefully it'll find its own kind of direction that'll set it apart from Clone Wars and really make it kind of shine as its own thing.